Check, check, check. Oh, hello there, Matt. Okay, just testing out the audio, getting everything squared away. Chat. Teams. At least the audio sounds okay. All right, gonna mute. I do try to be entertaining. Okay, let me mute myself because I can hear myself through the stream. Get rid of you. Move you over to here. Bring up my notes. Alrighty. Hello, friends, and welcome to the August Lunch and Learn for the WiscWeb service. For those of you who don't know my voice, my name is Matt Goins. Um, I don't. My official title is Client Engagement Specialist, but I'm the guy you always kind of hear from, whether it be support stuff when you're reaching out to me via emails or Teams, or the communications that come out from the WiscWeb service, or these types of things. My one-on-one trainings, my Learn with Mats, and then our lunch and learns, our monthly lunch and learns. Um, so this is the August Lunch and Learn. As I said in the email that I sent out earlier today, today's agenda is very light. I can see us being done early today, although I say that a lot, and then the conversation takes us down another road, and I like to talk. Um, so we'll kind of get into it. I know I had been notified that there were those campus town halls that were happening now as well. So I am recording this, and I will send out a link to this recording next week just in case. But the people who did reach out to me, I did mention there because of the light agenda and some of the things that we're um, talking about. I figured we'll still have the lunch and learn. I'll send out the recording for it, and no really need to reschedule it because of the fact that there's nothing like you know service stressing that we need to really talk about. So all right, let me swap some things around here real quick so that you can see my screen. There we go. Back over to my notes. Okay. So the first thing I want to touch on is we did talk at last month's lunch and learn about the fact that we were going to be updating the events calendar eventually, and that the events calendar would be retiring what is called the legacy view. And the legacy view is this type of view right here. The way that the events look currently. And so that was significant for us because at the time there were issues with something going on with the events calendar updated views and our server, where there were a bunch of PHP errors being thrown whenever we would um, switch over to the new view. We did, oh, I don't remember, but it was shortly after that conversation. We had a team, we call them swarm sessions, where four of us got into a Teams chat and everybody was doing something. And we figured out what the error was in relation to the UW theme and the events calendar. We figured out where those PHP errors were coming from. We were able to find a fix for it, and that fix is going to be hot fixed next week. So we're tentatively planning on patching some things next Tuesday. There's not too much that's going to be significant to what all you're seeing and doing right now. There's a few uh, things that our developers and the marketing developers have been working on. But at the moment, the biggest one that I wanted to chat about was the events calendar change, because what happens now is when we get that fixed, we can turn on the ability for you to use the updated views. And actually, since I'm here, let me do a quick demo. I believe it's on in our QA environment, but I'll look real quick. Oh no. Do I have it on? I lost internet connection like 10 minutes before this happened, and I bet you I can't. Oh, this is going to make for an interesting time. How does Matthew do this. Well, regardless, we'll do theater of the mind and hope that uh, I don't have to worry about doing this because I'm assuming that the moment I um, try to VPN in, it's going to reset my connection and I'm going to lose connection to things. I kind of want to do this for science, but we'll wait. I'll demo this again because basically the conversation point is now that we know what was causing the problem, we're able to fix it. And as such, we are now able to, but I shouldn't say now, we will be able to allow you, if you choose to use those updated views instead of using these legacy views. We're not doing that by default. Right now, we have a switch in place that doesn't allow you to turn on the new view because of the fact that it was causing us errors. But now that we have figured it out, we can allow you to make that choice. The events calendar itself, they actually delayed their mandatory retirement of those legacy views until next February, February 1st of 2022. Um, it was going to go away this month. So this conversation was going to be different in regards to here's what it looks like now. Sorry, folks. Um, but that's not happening until next year. But because of the fact that we can let you do this manually, I'm going to do a little learn with Matt to basically go over the how do you change to the new views, and then just a general events calendar learn with Matt, just some things that you can look at and know about events calendar in general. So that's that update, and it was pretty significant because again we were assuming um, uh, that this was going to be a different conversation. We were going to be telling you that we're going to be updating, etc. Um, I'm too paranoid too, Doug. I'm sorry because like it will kill me out of other things that I am doing when I'm online when I have my VPN connection going. So for example, when I'm playing certain computer games in the evening and I have forgotten to disconnect from the VPN, I will disconnect from the VPN and instantly lose connection to those games. It resets my connection. So um, paranoia will win out at this point. But I will try it once we get to the end because I'm curious. Um, okay, so that's the events calendar update. Speaking of VPN, a very significant update is coming later this month, and hopefully you all have seen some of these communications. And if you haven't, I'm going to share a couple of articles with you to talk about it. But starting August 23rd, Duo multi-factor authentication, which is our Duo, that Duo thing that we use for logging into, you know, anything basically that requires our NetID authentication. It is also going to be required for connecting to the VPN when you are attempting to access your WiscWeb editing environment. So we do have an article out. Let me just grab these couple of links to share with you guys in the chat. Let's get that one real quick. Information can be found here. And then here is our WiscWeb article. So the WiscWeb article it has the link to the it.wis.edu article as well. So if for those of you who are watching this after the fact, it is in our news article on our main WiscWeb.wis.edu site as well there. So again, Jenna created a news article that she just posted today because of the fact that we're going to be having this conversation. But I mean, this is pretty significant. You will have to VPN in, or you will have to authenticate when you VPN into campus. And we are also assuming that you're going to have to authenticate twice. So you're going to have to authenticate when you log into the VPN, and then you're also going to have to authenticate when you are logging into a campus service, so email, WiscWeb, whatever it might be. So it's going to have to be a dual authentication there. I don't know. I understand the security reasons behind it. I definitely understand the frustration with having to do it, but I mean, I understand the security reasons behind doing it as well. So again, just wanted to make sure that we touched on the fact that the Duo MFA Duo is coming to VPN connections. Be aware of that so that you guys are not surprised when you try to log in that morning and you're suddenly being uh, prompted to connect. Um, I assume you all have seen when you are logging into VPN already that there is a pop up message occurring. It's happening for me on my Windows machine. I don't know what it's looking like on the Mac side of things, but whenever I VPN in the morning when I quote unquote you know get to the office, um, it's giving me a little pop up message notifying me that this change is coming. So they are trying to notify people about it, but I don't know how widely spread people are paying attention to it. So we'll we'll go from there. Let me see. Events calendar update, MFA Duo coming to VPN. So those are the two big ones that we wanted to. Um, oh, thanks, Rich. Yeah, I don't know. So I know it is popping up for me on a Windows side. So this is also very good, so that I'm letting you know. Um, those of you who aren't seeing it, there it is. Okay, so that was those two oh see Rich. So that's those are those two big updates. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming in September, what's coming at the end of August, and what's coming in September. So I already talked about the fact that we're going to do a hot fix next week to address just a few things stylistically that we need to update in the UW theme, one of those being the events calendar stuff that I was just talking about. We are also planning on updating to WordPress version 5.8 sometime within this month. We're doing some testing out of it right now within our dev environments, or I'm sorry, within our dev and our QA environments. There are some stylistic changes to 5.8 that we're not really seeing specifically within the UW theme, so we're not really concerned about that. The big change that was coming in WordPress 5.8 was they were changing up what's called the widget editor. And let's see. Oh, I'm still in. So for those of you who don't know, widgets are one of the things that you can access through the appearance area. And what widgets do is they allow you to customize things that you see over here on the right side. So you can see within the Whisk website, we don't have any widgets set up over there. But if I added something like, let's go, um, just add this widget there, it'll be there, show 5. That's what a widget looks like. It just allows you to customize the posts page, the posts list page that you'll see, as well as the archive sidebar as well, which I don't really use, but there are a number of widgets that you could add over there. So WordPress 5.8, what it was doing was it was expanding the widgets available to put on the sidebar, as well as creating a new um, appearance of editing that widget area. And so, let's see. I think I might have it updated in my site here. Let's see. Yeah, so here's what it looks like in 5.8. I've actually updated my own WiscWeb environment. Uh, so I mean, this is what it looks like. It's completely different visually from what the UW theme looks like. So that's what's coming in um, there. Will there be a way to test your updates? I mean, I guess that's a yes and a no question, Doug, because yes, you can test it because we'll release the UW theme sometime in September. Um, so when we release the UW theme, you'll be able to grab the new one, and hopefully you have some sort of test environment to test it on before you push it to your live environment. So yes, you can, and no, you can't if you don't have a test environment to do it for. So I'm not really sure how better to answer that. Um, so anyways, to get back to the post to the widget thing, we're actually removing that this functionality mainly because one, we don't really see a lot of people using too much within the widgets areas themselves, and two, we just have concerns about some of the functionality of this editor with the UW theme. And this is using, for those of you who are sort of WordPress experienced, this functionality is going in line with what the Gutenberg editor is. And the UW theme doesn't use the Gutenberg editor because of the accessibility concerns that were there in the past. And so we've never moved to the Gutenberg editor for our UW theme functionality. That's just the way we have done it, just because of the fact that we need to make sure that everything is accessible for our users. So that was the reasoning behind not going to Gutenberg editor. It's just we're just staying in line with that and not moving to this functionality here as well. So for those of you who will not be using the UW theme specifically, but still are, I guess, listening in, things are going to change when you update to 5.8. It works with the UW theme, but I haven't given it like a really hard test run to see like if there are any concerns there. But just so you know, we'll be removing it, and it will still look like this. Um, there is a change freeze at the end of this month into, I believe it's the first week of September. It might go into the first 2 weeks of September. I'm not quite sure what the exact time frame is. Jenna could chat it in the chat over there. But because of that, we are pushing our UW theme release to later in September. I believe it's September 23rd is our tentative date for that. Yeah, so September 23rd right now is our tentative UW theme um, update. And the reason why I want to point that out is we have a few things coming in that theme update that I think are going to be pretty interesting to people. One we're testing out right now, and it is what Linda chatted in there, which is the ability to put a related article list at the bottom of a post, similar to what news.wis.edu does. So let's see if we've got something here. Nope. Now the problem is finding. Oh, here we go. So at the bottom of an article um, at news.wisc, some of the articles have this you may also like. So ours is going to say related posts. We're up to changing that if people feel strongly about that, but I'm not, that's we're keeping it simple. Um, but basically, you'll have a list like this. You'll have the option to add up to 3 related posts down there. Um, you could have featured images in there. You could have excerpts in there. So we're testing this out right now. It's working pretty smoothly, and so we're hoping that that will be okay for our September release. So that's the only one that I can talk about right now because the others are still in planning/building mode, and also just uncertainty as to whether or not we'll get around to getting them into September. We might have to look toward the December release. Um, so yeah, so Jenna is right now chatting about the change freeze functionality and the reason why we're pushing it back to um, September 23rd there. But this is one of the big ones that is coming in our theme release next month. Is this related posts? Again, we know that people have been asking for that in the past. It is something that was added to our feature request board, and so we're glad to start knocking off some of those things um, as well. Let's see. Updating WordPress to 5.8 UW theme coming in September. I guess with that all being said, let me just kind of go back into a couple of other just reminders in general. So, um, the feature request board is right there. Um, let's see, Michael. Yeah, that's I asked that question when Jen and I were testing this out. I guess that's a question that we'd have to sort of look at as, I mean, what's the use case for it being added to a faculty bio page? Um, because a faculty bio page, you could add in some things in using the so many things on the page these days. Don't need publications listing. I could add the extra fields function and add in that news and announcements about their lab, research promotions, awards, etc. I guess what I would my brain goes a different route for that because I think it'll be done manually, Rich. Well, I'll demo it at our next at next month's lunch and learn because by the time we get to next month's lunch and learn, we'll have a number of these things in our dev and QA environment for me to actually demo for you all. Um, Honestly, I guess Michael, what I would say um, is go to the feature request board, and I guess the request that I would make would be a more robust faculty staff um, custom post type because I could see those types of things. I could see those types of things that you're wanting to do being done through the various page elements that a page has. So like news and announcements about their lab and things like that, like that's a post list or a featured content block type thing. So what I would say is that type of stuff I think would fall more in line with just maybe changing up the way that the faculty staff custom post type is done. Yeah, and what Jenna's saying is just be very specific about what you want, so that way we know exactly how to attack it. But yeah, I would say create a feature request on that, and throw it out to the WordPress users group, so that way they can see it as well. We like I said, we make decisions based on what our user base wants to know or wants to see done. So um, that would help influence our future work. But I like what you're thinking, Michael, because I actually now that you've said it, I could totally see some of those things being beneficial on a page like this. Okay, so anyways, sort of in line with that conversation, thank you, Michael, is the feature request board. So the feature request board, I'll post the link to the KB document right there. It is KB Doc 110624. Um, we listen and we want to hear what people want within the UW theme, within the WiscWeb service. And again, we're making decisions based on um, the things that you request and the way that they get upvoted. So, you know, again, make that uh, option out here. Adding SEO structured data. See, I think we did this with the meta tags. Um, yeah, we've got some things out here that we're working in right now. Today.whisk. Yeah, we should show this to Nick Weaver as well. But anyways, go out here, make requests, talk to people about it. The WordPress users group within Teams is a great spot to have these conversations. We've had lots of great conversations since the creation of that Teams room about various things, and it's been very enlightening to see the things that people want. So that's the feature request board. The community of practice teams group. Since I'm chatting about it, I'll put the link in here for that. So that is the link for the Teams group. There is also a Google group out there. You can send an email to that group right there, and that will help you join the WordPress community of practice group. And again, like I said, there's a number of people in there, and we've had some pretty good conversations in there as well. But these are the types of things we talk about in there as well. Like, you know, how are people doing this? Can we get some advice on how to do these things? So, okay. What else? Speaking of teams, let me just pop over here real quick because now that I'm talking about a faculty staff list, Jenna showed me something this week. I kind of want to take a look at it real quick with you all in the room. Jenna, do you remember the page that you sent me? Oh, yeah. Jenna's muted in the stream, but I can hear her, so I'm having a conversation with a ghost. Business services. There we go. Staff directory. There it is. So this is business services staff directory that they built out, and just to kind of show you one way um, to display these in like a card view. Um, Unfortunately, again, I'm not VPN'd in, so I can't show you the internal view of this, but I can kind of talk you through it. So these are faculty staff post elements or list elements right here. I believe at least, I know at least this one. This one might also be, yep, this one is as, no, this one is not. This one is manually added. This one might be done via a faculty type, but these are just basically set up to display name, title, email address, and phone number with no photo displayed. And so what happens is with the no photo displayed option unchecked, I'm sorry, with the display photos option unchecked, they show up like cards like this, and it looks nice. I think this is a slick way to show these particular faculty staff lists. So, and again, remember with our last theme update, we did implement the ability to do filtering within those, but there are some stipulations to how the filters work. So the filters wouldn't work with some of these because of the way that they're being used. But that idea also exists to use the filter for diversifying how your faculty staff list is displayed. Okay. Brain going a million ways right now. Let's see here. Da, 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 da. So we talked about the community of practice, the WordPress community of practice. Again, highly recommend people jumping into there. It's been very informative. Very helpful, good conversations, just good conversations in general. Just not about WordPress, but people have talked about like various hobbies and things like that. The more the more we can connect while we're not together, the better. Um, Also, a reminder for everybody to update their various address books that they are using. Whenever you need to submit a support request or a support ticket to the WiscWeb team, make sure you use help@doit.wisc.edu instead of what was our old CMS-support. We're using help at Do It so that things can triage appropriately through the help desk and then up to us, which makes life easier for help desk folks and then us subsequently. Um, let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, last thing I wanted to touch on, and this is still sort of in its infancy, but it is an ongoing conversation that we're having with the Center for User Experience, and um, that is the Center for User Experience is trying to create a campus-wide UW design community. Um, and there, I put in the chat there the how to join that Google group, how to join that email list. And basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring together a lot of voices, a lot of opinions, and a lot of expertise to then provide guidance to campus, to all of you, to me, to everyone on good user experience and accessibility practice when it comes to the delivery of digital goods, PDFs, Word documents, everything like that, and your websites. We're going to be doing some more. If you guys remember, a couple years ago, has it been a couple years now? It's been a while, since we did those in-person sort of workshops at Memorial Library. We're going to try and do some more of those things at a distance, obviously, but we're going to try and do some more of those things with the Center for User Experience, with um, that group, because we really do want to encourage good design practice, good accessibility practice, and to just continue to provide you all with guidance on how to build a I guess quote unquote good website. Good is always subjective, but we want to make sure that it works for you, it works for your audience, and it works for your stakeholders. So that's that spiel. Open Labs, Linda. Yeah, I've been thinking about the Open Lab thing because the Open Labs worked. The virtual Open Labs do work. They kind of fell off there during the summertime. I can look to recreate those again heading into the fall. I have to figure out the best way to deliver those again, just because everything is being, I shouldn't say everything. Lots of things are being pushed towards Teams and Zoom. So I need to again sort of I can't think of the word now. Just take a look at it again and make the best decision. Reevaluate. There's the word I was looking for. Boy, oh boy, is it a Thursday? Um, so yeah, I'll take that into account, Linda. Another question that I've gotten, and Jen and I were talking about this before the open lab. Geez, at least the lunch and learn began. Was a question that I get is in person type things with this um, school year beginning. As of right now, Do It still hasn't returned to campus. We are still at a distance. So I'm still not on campus to do any of the in-person type things. Um, Unfortunately. And then even when campus starts to return, I know that's part of the conversation this afternoon in the town halls. Um, Even when we do, I guess I have to just take into account: am I allowed to do in person type things for this type of stuff? There's still some things that I have to look at as well. So um, potential's there, but we'll see about that. As always, Linda and anyone else, you want to have a chat about anything, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk people through how to do things. I'm more than happy to be a sounding board. I'm more than happy to be in a 1 hour meeting where we just throw anything at the wall and see what fix we could do. Um, so that's I'm more than happy to chat with people. No one ever needs to feel like they can't get in touch with me. You can reach out to me via Teams, email, whatever it might be. So don't hesitate to do that. Let's see. Hmm. Options for translating. I guess yeah, that's another one. We've been getting this question a lot, and we know that um, some folks are looking for some guidance on this. We ourselves are looking at guidance at this, so we're hoping to have some more information about this maybe next month, maybe in October, is guidance for options for translated sites. So we know a number of sites are looking to create Spanish versions of their sites, or um, Chinese Mandarin or Hmong, which are the three that are those three? There might be one more. Tibetan are the three that are supported through cultural linguistic services at HR. We've had I've said something in the past. The UX team has said something different. So we want to come to a middle ground so that we can advise best what to do next. We've been getting that question a few times over the summer and over the past couple of weeks as well. So we're looking to find some guidance on that as well, because uh, yeah, like I said, I've had one way where I have encouraged people to do things, because Jenna and I we have just encouraged folks to um, allow the browser. Most international folks are using browser translation to do this for you. Um, we know that that's not perfect, but it is a best effort type thing. Um, so we're going to work with UX to make sure that we understand their recommendations, and we will then make our recommendations as appropriate. Trying to think of anything else. And if you have like a dire need right now for that conversation, you can always reach out to us, or you can always, a dire is not the right word. If you have a need for that right now for that conversation, you can always reach out to us. You can always reach out to the UX team as well, the Center for User Experience as well. Oh man, I filled 40 minutes with just rambling. That was pretty impressive. Um, I don't know. I guess I'll unmute Jenna and hope my computer doesn't make goofy noises right now. Anything else that we can talk about, Jenna, coming up?
I have one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I did post this in the Community of Practice Teams group, but if anyone is interested in providing some feedback on our knowledge base space, I am going to be doing one-on-one like user research with folks. I have a couple people, but always looking for more. The kinds of things that we'd be talking about are like, how do you navigate the KB? What kinds of things are you typically looking for? What are your pain points? What might help you find what you need faster? We're really looking to keep improving this space, so your help is greatly appreciated.
Yep,
So
that's
yeah, reach out if you would like to provide some feedback.
yeah. And for those of you who are longtime KB users, you will notice that our knowledge base space has changed up a little bit with the menu at the top, which are the topic areas, and then a few things down the page itself. So frequently visited, most used during a week, our top troubleshooting documents, and then updated ones as well. So, um, thank you, Linda. Okay. Oh yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Learn with Mats. So the Learn with Matt trainings that I have been doing over the past couple of months now, um, they are all here under the WiscWeb training page. I am posting them there, so they're there for everybody to go back and take a look at. I have, I think off the top of my head, I have two more coming up that I am going to do. One will be next week, and I am going to revisit the conversation about image editing and just basically best practices when choosing images for your site and for the particular page elements that exist within your site. We've been seeing some different things coming through, and um, you know, I guess helping you all make the best decisions when it comes to the images that you use on your site. So I'm going to do another one of those. Um, Again, I use Photoshop to do my image editing, so I will be using Photoshop in that Learn with Matt. But I should say, Photoshop is available to us as campus employees. So you can go to software.wisc.edu and you can access it. Or if your workstations are managed, reach out to whomever your local IT is so that you can get access to it. Don't be intimidated by Photoshop. The things that I do in Photoshop are exceptionally basic. I am not a power Photoshop user. I promise. Um, so that's next week's Learn with Matt. It'll be image editing. And then I think what I'm going to do is let's take a look at the old calendar down here. Um, so that'll be next week. I think the week of the 23rd, I will do, yeah, probably the week of the 23rd. I'm going to do one on the various Google services that you can integrate with your site. So I've had a few questions coming in recently about Google Analytics and understanding Google Analytics a little bit better. And then also people asking questions about like how do I know how people are getting to my site? What are they looking for? Things of that nature. So the next that Learn with Matt is basically going to walk people through the process of setting up Google Analytics, applying Google Analytics, which is pretty quick, but then also setting up Google Custom Search Engine, which is what you can use up here, setting up Google Search Console, which is something you can use to improve SEO functionality, and then how to integrate custom search and Search Console into your Google Analytics to provide you more information about how people are getting to your site and what to look for there as well. So that one's going to be, I'll probably make that one a 90-minute session. Maybe, I mean, we could maybe even look at 2 hours there and just kind of play it by ear from that standpoint. But that's a pretty big one where it's like there's a lot of things to kind of go through when it comes to Google Analytics, and I mean, every time I teach Google Analytics, there's always something new I learn. Felipe, good questions. Good question, not questioned. Good question. I will touch on GA4, Google Analytics 4 versus Universal Analytics, but there's not much I can say about the use of Google Analytics 4 because I don't know how to use it yet. I know how to use it, quote unquote, based on what I'm looking at in it, but I really don't have much advice on how to make the best use of it. So what Felipe is referring to is, um, I can't remember. It had to be somewhere around the new year, maybe the end of last year. Google Analytics adopted what is referred to as Google Analytics 4, a new way to view and analyze your analytics data. And I'll touch on this during that session. But the the integration of all of the various pieces of data that they have within Google Analytics 4 is a bit confusing. And I haven't taken the time to really dive in and be able to understand it as best I can, as I should. And I should, because I know a lot of people are setting up Google Analytics and they're setting up GA4 instead of Universal Analytics. So maybe over the next couple of weeks, I can familiarize myself with GA4 a little bit more so that I can at least speak to what you would be seeing in there as well. So that is an excellent point to bring up, Felipe. Thank you. Um, let's see. So those are the next two. I'll always take recommendations on things you guys want to learn about in like a bigger session. So if you feel like it's something where you'd like to just kind of sit and watch me do something for a little while, even if it's just building pages or building sites or whatever it might be, I'm more than happy to take any sort of recommendations you guys might have. Okay, that's enough about me. Let's see. Looking at the rundown. All right, I think that's about it. Any other questions from you guys in the chat? Otherwise, we can call this an afternoon. Hope everybody survived the storms okay. We lost power on Wednesday night from about 5:30 in the evening until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I know other people have been without power for much longer than we were, but that was a good time. Okay. Seeing no questions coming through specifically, let's call it a day there. Remember, um, uh, hop into the community of practice teams group. Lots of conversation there. Jenna and I are in there as well, so we'll see those messages as well. You can always reach me via email, via Teams. If you have a support ticket you need somebody to take a look at, help at doit.wisc.edu. Big things are coming. We're excited to show some of those things to you guys next month. Yeah, stay safe, everybody, and hope to hear from you all soon. So we'll call it an afternoon. Thanks, everybody. Take care.